introduce our speaker for today. We have Delphina Begay. She is the founder and CEO of Water Edge Business Solutions, and she is also an alumni of our incubator program. So I will turn the time over to Delphine.
Yeah, it's Ed. My name is Delphina Begay. I'm from Water Edge Business Solutions. I'm the CEO and founder. Today, I will be presenting Understanding the Taxation for Your Business and Deadline Dates. Welcome. I'm a bit nervous, so this is my first Zoom presentation, so I'm on the line, so it makes me a little bit nervous here, but my name is Delphina Begay. I am the CEO and owner of Water Edge Business Solutions. I am based out on the Navajo Nation in Arizona side in the Lichee community. I have a bachelor's degree in business administration from Northern Arizona, so I'm a lumberjack. And I have two wonderful children, and I have a wildcat and I have a sun devil. So my daughter's over at University of Arizona, and my son's at ASU. So we basically cover all three in-state colleges, and I'm super proud of them. And I just can't believe that we've come this far to what I'm doing today. I'm really excited. Well, I'm just gonna let you know that I did start my business last year with the help, a lot of help, really. I really appreciate Change Lab and being selected as an alumni here. I was able to push myself to start my business 1 year ago around this time, actually in January, I did that. And I started my business 1 year now, so I'm close to my anniversary. But I've had over 20 years of experience in finance and accounting industry. Some of my prior positions were I was an accountant, I was a chief financial officer, a financial analyst, and a finance director. With all of these types of finance and accounting positions, I really had an opportunity to run a small business on the nation. So excuse me, because I have my colleagues are sitting right next to me that gave me this opportunity to work on the nation. And with that said, I got to learn to see my peers, my own community members, start their small businesses on the nations as well. And I just want to see my fellow business owners also succeed and grow. And that's why I started my business. I'm a business solutions and finance, accounting, and bookkeeping. So that's where I stand here. And I just, I love my clients. I have about 10 clients currently working. We were just shooting out 1099s last night. So I've been up all till midnight. And then this morning, I got up early this morning and drove in from Lichee to Tuba City. So basically today, my topics are going to be covering is just the types of business structures small businesses have, some of the IRS forms and important deadlines, our Navajo Nation sales tax and important deadlines, and some of the Arizona forms and important deadlines and other resources. So what I'm just going to basically talk about is just high level things, give you some information about what types of forms you need and what you need to utilize for your businesses. So with that said, I will probably do a lot of linking, and hopefully Raquel will be able to link some of them up for you guys and just look at overview the documentations for these types of business. So what I want to start out with is actually, I want to see all the guests out here. I wanted to see if your business is operating on the Navajo Nation. If not, is your business operating on another tribal nation? Or is your business operating off tribal nation, off reservation? And how long have you been in operation, and what type of business are you operating? I just want to see that so that way I can kind of have a feel of what, how complex I should talk about, what type of level, if you guys are beginning stages mostly here, or if you're at more like a year 5 and over, and just want to get some of your feedbacks. So definitely some of you guys are well established, which is really good to know. There's a lot of upcoming opportunities for us small business owners in rural remote locations, especially. So it's kind of good. Maybe you guys are going to have time to review your financial portfolios for these opportunities. So we're going to stop sharing. So today we're going to talk about the types of business structures. So there's really types of business structures you're set up to. You're either going to be a sole proprietor, which is an ownership of one person. Then you have unlimited personal liabilities, and the tax part is going to be self-employment tax, which is your personal taxes. Then there's partnership. So you can have 2 or more people in a partnership structure. Again, this is unlimited personal liabilities unless it's structured as limited partnership. And then you also do the self-employment taxes, except for limited partners, and you also utilize the personal taxes. Then the next one is the limited liability company, LLC. Majority of us are in this area as business owners. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are on the Zoom. So there's going to be 1 or more people. Owners are not personally liable. You also have self-employment tax, and then you can either go for the personal tax or the corporate tax. And then there's 2 types of corporation tax, type of business structures. There's a C Corp and an S Corp. This is pretty much at high level. When you're making a lot, it's a more net income. Here you would I would make a goal maybe to do this piece, and there's a lot of tax incentives and breaks for that once you get at this level. But there's a lot of other forms that you have to follow when you're ready to close out your taxation. So the C Corp is just 1 or more people, whereas the S Corp, it's 1 or more people, but no more than 100, and they all must be US citizens. For both of the liabilities, the owners are not personally liable. C Corp, you do the corporate tax structure. S Corp, you do the personal tax. And then also another corporations are nonprofits. So there's 1 or more people. Owners are not personally liable. There's tax exempt, but corporate profits can be distributed. So those are the key types of business structures that you would start off as a business, and you can either, start from a sole proprietor, then move into a limited liability, and then possibly go into C or S Corp. That's kind of how historically, when you gradually growing your business, you kind of go to that type of concept. Now, this part is the forms on the IRS side portion, which is the IRS forms. You can have, so there's important deadlines. So on the sole proprietor, that's when you're the one person, again, you're limited liability, there's no limited liability, but you're passed through. And so basically when you're pass through, it means you're just responsible for your debts and liability of the business. So when you're getting ready to start your filing your taxes, you're going to be utilizing a Schedule C for the Form 140. And then the Form 140 is your individual tax return. And then you attach another document, which is the Schedule C. And that is a tax form for reporting your profits and loss from a business. And this one will be due Monday, April 15th of this year. Second, the next one is partnership. So if you have 2 or more owners in a partnership, you're going to go through so you're just going to go ahead and do the tax forms of a Schedule K1, and you also do a Form 1065. So the K1 is just an information that's used to file your 1040, and that one's due again on April 15th. And then the 1065 is the information return. So no money is due, and then no refund is issued when you do the 1065. And this one is due on the 15th of March. And then the K1 is due on in April of 15, because you're just preparing that K1 for you to get the April 15th due date deadline. Then there's corporation, again, 1 or more. You're going to be using Form 1120. So the 1120 is the form is the corporation used to find out their taxes or how much business tax they owe. So the form is to report their income, gains, losses, and deductions and credits. And this is due on the 15th day of the 4th month after the end of the corporation tax year. So most corporations will set their tax years sometimes slightly different than your regular tax season, like regular calendar years. Some of them go like from July, like a fiscal year or something like that. Then there's a single member LLC. Still, it's so similar to your sole proprietor. You do a Schedule C form also with your 1040, same exact thing, and that one's due on April 15. And then the next one is your multi-member LLC. This is similar reporting to the corporation again. You need the K1, and then you get the Form 1065. So I'm going to start with the 1040. This is what the 1040 is. It's the individual tax. I'm going to link it and I'll show you what this. So this is going to be your best friend here. Okay, so this is your schedule 1040. This is what it looks like on the IRS. What's really nice is there a lot of them are PDF, so you can feel free to fill these in. And what's really important is this is just your individual tax return. So definitely look at irs.gov and look into their forms. And this is the one that you'll be filling. Normally, you probably, if you have a tax person that does it, this is what they'll fill for you, or your accountant. And they'll attach the Schedule C if you're the LLC. And so it's going to be on irs.gov. Okay, so that's the form that you'd be filling out. This is what it looks like. So the next one is that Schedule C. So this is your Schedule C. That's a profit and loss form for your business. And I'm going to go to the IRS form. And this is the one that you attach with your 1040. And really, this is where, when you guys are doing your financials for your business, these are the key, I call it chart of accounts or key expenses in your business. You're going to roll up this area here, part 2, from line 8 all the way to 27A and B. This is your kind of your main expenses that you'd hit these line in for your business. So you can try to, the best thing I would do is just, my recommendation is utilize this as your chart of accounts if you're starting your business, and then you're going to put these in there. So right now, you probably will have some legal and professional at the end of the year, because you're going to have your tax preparers or your accountant expenses when you're paying. That would be in line 17. This is where you would put that. A lot of us native owners, business owners, are traveling and doing a lot of travel to go from, Tuba City to Window Rock, or Tuba City to Shiprock, Gallup to Page, things like that. So you're doing your oil changes, you need to get your new tires. It would go into the line 9, where it's the car and truck expenses for that year. Let's see, we have some tour companies are here today. So some of them will be paying some commissions and fees to their providers. So if you're doing a third party vendor, stuff like that, and agreeing to, bring in some of the guests from Las Vegas, tour companies for their people, most likely you're going to probably put some of those vendors over in line 10 for the commissions and fees. So this is really the main driver for your business to start with. Is definitely, here's a good starting point for your charts of accounts. Okay. So that's the Schedule C. Now this piece is Form 1065. This is for the partnerships. This is what the document looks like, and just be familiar if you are a partner. And this is the one you would fill out. And this is where all of the information that you put in again, and so there, remember how on the 1040 Schedule C, you have the expenses. So theirs is here on the deduction side. This is their kind of your starting point for your charts of account. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit structured differently, but it's still kind of the same concept. So this is where you would put all the reportings. And then on top is just your income. So on the partnerships, that's where you put your income. So most of the time people are going to be paying with sometimes you have the third-party vendors like Zelle, PayPal, Square, and some of your systems, like the reservation systems. I'm really good with the familiarities of the tour company. So like the Fair Harbors, what a lot of the tour companies over in the Lachi'i community are utilizing. So they get their income from the Fair Harbor, and then they'll get the revenues there. So this is where they would put them. And that's what this form is for. I will continue on to the next document. And after that, the Schedule K1. So this is the K1 that partnerships and corporations will utilize. and I'll link that up again. And this is the K1 form. So this one is due first, which is going to be due in March. This K1 then is attached to your finalized April 15 return. This is just an informational portion, and that will be, you don't need to owe anything and submit. They just need the numbers of how much your deduction credits and things like that. So that prepares you for that form, next form. Okay, now this is for the C Corp, S Corp. This is the US, this is the corporation income tax reform. It's called the Form of 120. And that it's just, I think when I'm linking, it's a little bit easier for you to see. It's easier on the eye. So that's why I'm doing it this way. And then this again is the same thing. It's similar to the kind of like the partnership again. You can see that here's their kind of their charts of account for the area here for your deductions, and then here's the income. So it's almost similar to the other form. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to the Navajo Nation's tax and the important deadlines. So we recently Navajo Nation, you need to submit by January 15th that Form 100. That's just the business activities for the Navajo Nation. They just want to see what type of business activities you're starting. This kind of assists on getting ready for you to submit your Form 600s, which is your sales tax form. So we're going to have one due in a couple of weeks. You got 14 more days to get this prepared. And so the first one's going to be due on February 15th. This is for the Q4 though from last year. So you're going to be submitting a lag. So you're going to only be submitting your sales tax from October, November, and December of 2023. And these our current Navajo Nation sales tax is at 6%. So that one's going to be due in 14 days. And then the next one that's going to be due will be your current quarter. You're on May 15th. You're going to be covering January, February, and March of 2024. And then so on again, another quarter is August 15th. That one's Q2. That's going to cover May, April, and June. And then again, in November 15th, you will be doing Q3. So July, August, and September. So that's what the tax due dates are for now. So on the Navajo Nation sales tax, what it is it's Navajo Nation, that means it applies to all retail sales of goods and services occurring on the Navajo Nation. For goods, the sales tax applies when the transfer of ownership occurs on the Navajo Nation. And for services, the tax applies when the person performing the service is physically located within the Navajo Nation. So that's only with everything has to be conducted in the nation for you to make sure you give them that sales tax of 6%. So again, the Navajo Nation sales tax rate is currently at 6%. And so the Navajo Nation is completely separate from any state and county taxes that may apply to the activity within the Navajo Nation boundaries. And paying the sales tax does not relieve your business from reporting and paying to the Navajo Nation. So this is what was due on January 15th. And this is the designation of individuals. I'm going to go into the link. And definitely, I recommend that you guys just go ahead and look at the Office of the Navajo Tax Commission. It's very informative and it has all the documentations here. And it's going to just explain what the Navajo Nation Tax Office is all about. So all the links are here and it's pretty good. Here's that schedule of tax dates. So there's a few different types of taxes. So I'm going to click that for you guys and get the PDF format. And these are all the Navajo Nation taxes. But today I'm only going to focus on the Navajo sales tax, which is here in this area. But we have other ongoing ones, but a lot of us owners are going to be submitting the sales tax one. And then I'm going to kind of briefly cover the hotel occupancy tax. So this is the ones that do have occupancy. If you're doing like the kind of like an Airbnb on the nation or doing a glamping, this is the one you also have to submit with the tribe. So those are the two, and I know that some of them do like Hogan rentals. If you're doing like an Airbnb type concept, you probably most likely need to also submit the hotel occupancy tax. So just clicking on going to the forms, and these are all the forms that the taxation, again, we're just only going to mostly focus on the sales tax because that's where most of us small business owners on the nation are utilizing. And here's the Form 100. And it's already pre-filled. You just need to fill out all of these formats here, your name of your business, what type of business. And here you put the owner that's running the business here. The second one, if they're partners, you actually put the partners. What my other recommendation for the Form 100 is if you have any financial managers or managers to your business, I would add them on here. So you'll probably get a second page and add their names on here. And I would recommend that just in case, let's say the owners are not in town and they needed to do the signature authority for signing off the documentations, Navajo Nation Tax Commission will let your managers, let them write on behalf of you for the sales tax reporting. So that's kind of best practice on here is if you have that. So some of my current clients, they fill out about 3 of them. I have one that's running a partnership. So they have partner 1 here, partner 2, and then they have the manager 1 and the co-manager on the other one. So when they're not in town, they'll be able to submit the sales tax. So this is just for their information. And then you just kind of put your physical address. It's really important on the physical address on line 2. I know we have, some of us communities do have rural addressing. Utilize your rural addressing for that. Otherwise, you're just going to have to do like milepost 302. You know, be as descriptive as you can be on the reservation addresses. And then in form on the 3 side, you just tell me what type of sales, what type of tax you're going to be filling. So in this case, most of us again are in that sales area, and then your type of business and the information here. And it's pretty much easy to understand. But there's a full form instruction here too. So it walks you through your information. So review those and then just fill them one by one. If not, you can always email me or contact me and I can kind of walk you through it as well. Okay, so the next one, again, this is the sales tax form 600, and that's the returns, which will be due in 14 days again, just emphasizing. So this is what it's going to look like when you're going to do this. And it's not really hard to do, just takes practice. So I'm going to click back, I'm going to link back into the office of the tax commission format again. And you'll find the form under forms again. We're going to go to sales tax. Now we're going to go into the form 600 section. So they're helping you pre-fill. That's kind of big here. So this is the form again, due in 14 days. If your business has an EIN number, make sure you put the business EIN number and what reporting period, which is going to be the last quarter, which is going to be year 2023, I'm sorry, quarter 4. And this is where you're going to go ahead and put your sales tax. So in line 1, let me see, you have retail sales. Let's say you have a coffee shop. So the coffee shop will put there on line 1, the business description. So, and then you're just going to put like your coffee shop. Then here the business class and then the chapter, it'll give you the codes for that. So if you're within like the Litchi chapter, they have identifiers on another page so we can get there. And then you only report your gross receipts. So you would run whatever, let's say if you're using a Square software system, just run the Square reports, look at your gross receipt only for for this current one, it's going to be your October, November, and December gross receipts. And you can enter that there, the totals, and multiply it by 6%, and that's the tax amount that you would pay to the Navajo Nation. And so if you're not ready to pay and you're not ready to get that also, you can file the extension. You have to, again, it's telling you here to do the Form 145 and just explain why you can't pay that sales tax on the 15th of February if you guys are in that type of situation. And then the balance, what the balance due, and then whatever the credit, and then basically it's just it will help you walk it. I believe it. Let's see if it's gonna work for me. So if we do $100, does it automatically? Nope, it doesn't. Okay, so that's what that one's gonna look like. And then the instructions are again, the full instructions are here at the 6%. Form 600's instructions are here again. And it kind of gives you the like overview of what you need and then what the due dates are. Now, the thing I had the hardest time finding is your chapter number. I don't know if it was this one. I apologize. No, it's not. I'm trying to find it. Okay, it always is hard right here. So when you're in a chapter, you have to report what chapter you're actually coming, your business is from. It's going to be in the forms and go all the way down. It's kind of hidden. It's form sales attachment A. Here's your chapter codes. So this is where your codes are at. So you're going to put that, whatever they assign. So I'm from the Lucia chapter, so I'll be doing my sales tax with the coding of 45. And then rule of thumb or best thing I advise to is look at your frequently asked questions. They'll actually have some good information there sometimes. And then right here, you see this Navajo Tax Commissioner, or I'm sorry, staff directory. So here's your staff directory. These are our current administration in your Navajo Sales Tax Office. And these are going to be your best friends here. This is probably some of these are going to be your tax compliance officers. If you have any questions about any of the Navajo Nation sales tax, give them a call. They already have assigned you a liaison. It looks like a lot of them are vacant right now, but get to know your liaison and ask questions too. They're very helpful once you know a lot of, I did have a liaison that I knew very well, but they're no longer here. So if you email them directly, they'll be able to assist you as well. So no, they've already assigned you a liaison once you get through this Navajo Nation sales tax area. So just FYI on that. Okay, somebody asked if you missed your deadlines. So if you missed your Form 100 deadline, you're going to be assessed a $50 late penalty fee, but still just go ahead and submit it still. Again, so someone asked, if you live out of state and perform some businesses on the Navajo Nation, do I need to pay Navajo Nation taxes? Okay, so the rule of thumb is if you are conducting the service on the nation, what's funny is, did you actually, you need to first apply for a business, kind of like a business license in the nation, and then it's going to prompt you to start paying for that, for sales tax. So check if you're registered first and then go from there. If not, you kind of like slip through the cracks.
Yeah, so here at Change Labs, we highly encourage everyone to be registered with the nation who's operating their business on the nation. And so doing so, you would, in a sense, like this is essentially to a lot of these forms that we're walking through currently right now, is if you are already, and you know of that your business is registered with the nation. And so to register with the nation, I highly suggest if those of you who aren't and wanting to be able to register with the nation, your business, definitely go through our Build Navajo website. And then I can walk you through some of the forms and registration, or even to book a coaching call, a Tuesday coaching call with one of our Change Labs coaches. And we can definitely help you kind of get that established and going. And therefore, like, that more of these forms will make a lot more sense. I remember when we had our first discussion with Delphine earlier this month, she was talking about the deadline of Form 100 and how, like, some of us don't really have the social capital of like loved ones or really kind of friends and family of network of people that we can just pull a lot of this information from. And so Delphine, being one of our wonderful professionals in this field of bookkeeping and accounting, that like she'll be able to really kind of help you, fill out a lot of these forms. And that's why Form 100 is very important, is that it allows for essentially like a third party person from your business who's to help fill out a lot of these forms for you all. So yeah, and I think it's different for state, right? Of different types of filing, but this is currently all the forms that we're going over for the Navajo Nation Tax Commission office. Yeah, thanks. There you go.
All right, thank you. That was great questions. Okay, so we'll move back to the next. Would we need to add? Someone asked, would we need to add Navajo Nation tax in our tax returns? Yes. Well, it would be under your tax deductions. There's going to be a tax line on your Schedule C. So go ahead and, because it's going to be in your, normally you'll be paying you'll see it in your bank statements, your business bank statements, if you're paying that tax. So go ahead and, yes, go ahead and put that on your Schedule C or the other forms for the, on your deductions of the IRS forms. So we do, that is, yes, definitely add that in. All right. The next form is the Form 100. I decided to put this one out because I know some of us are starting to do the Airbnb and that type of business on the nation. And so this is the next form that they have to also add to their 600. So this will be due at the same time as your Navajo sales tax. And this is just a hotel occupancy tax return. I don't know if there's a lot of you guys that are doing that, but that's what it looks like. So if you're thinking about in the future, some of you business owners that want to expand in something different and you want to start doing hotel, if you want to start doing renting out your Hogan to people, this is probably what you're going to have to start. Form 700, you're going to have to start filling out as well on top of it. So if you can see that you already see kind of the similarities now, it's really a hotel occupancy geared format. So here's your total room receipts. And then if there's any exempt rooms, and then the taxable receipts. And then this one's going to be at 8% though. So this is the hotel occupancy is a little bit different. You're going to pay the 8%. So is there anybody that's out there doing that type of business? Okay, so let's see. So somebody said, what category would that be labeled as? Are you talking about the Navajo Nation tax? I would categorize it in the tax and license sections of the Schedule C. Okay, and then I have another person that said, where does the line exist for doing work for the BIA versus doing work for the tribe? As a business established in Phoenix, do I pay tax to the feds or the tribe when doing fire suppression on the reservation? It's a service, not on a product sale. Okay, with this question, are you saying sometimes you do contract work for the BIA? Yes, through a national contract. Okay. With this, normally, if you submit an invoice and you add the 6% tax on a BIA invoice related type of activity, you may be exempt. They'll ask you to be exempt and they're not going to let you, it varies. So sometimes my best practice with that is I usually add the 6%. And then when they review the invoice, they'll tell you, take it out because we're exempt. I do have a client that works with the BIA schools doing like kind of like janitorial services, and one of the boarding schools, he added the 6%, but they said they get exempt. So he took out that 6% from them because, and gave them an exempt form. So definitely ask that question to the BIA, but normally when they're reviewing their invoices, they'll hurry up and flag that and tell you, take it off, and then know that that was an exempt project. Was that helpful? Okay, so it says, I don't send an invoice, it's handled through SAM, my dispatches. Okay, all right, so we can take a look at that, or just give me a call or email me, and then I can maybe look at your contract too, because usually it should state in your contract as well, sir.
I think it's also dependent on your business registry as well. Just because if you're registered with essentially the state of Arizona, you can still get a contract with like a federal country. Sorry, I'm just hearing the echo. My bad. Just a second here.
Yeah, no, it's just me because I can hear it in my ear and then, and then online. Yeah, so like essentially like too, I think it has a lot more to do with like your registration and like how you were able to obtain that contract. And then through there, that's when like your essential services of the federal contracting, because it is like a little bit different whenever you go into federal contracting of like how you're like essentially submitting a lot of your sales taxation forms and things like that. So like I would strongly suggest kind of working with like a CPA or even Delphine a little bit more in depth on like what those invoices could look like, just because I know that construction companies get into a lot of that kind of waters as well. So it's not a new problem or anything like that. Sorry, it could be a little bit more straightforward of an answer, but yeah, good question, Terry.
Thank you. So with all that said, I like data too. I'm, like I said, my strong point too is financial, being an analyst to anything, but this is the fun part. I get excited looking at this this report when they get this all ready. So here is kind of like a somewhat transparency to the nation. So when we're asking, what do we do with all the sales tax we sent to Navajo? What happens to it? Where does it go? What are we spending on? And who's paying what here? This is the grand scheme of things. They're a little behind, but the latest information is fiscal year 2022. So if you see this, this is what they've collected in taxation and by quarters, and then at the end, here's the lump sum. So if all of us, whoever's doing sales tax and paying to the nation, but at year 2022, we've as small business owners, and I believe the enterprise is also in here because it's such a high number, it's 128.3 is what we've contribute to the nation. Most of us, I'm going to say most of us that are doing that 6% and filling out that area, we're going to be over here with the sales, non-retail and retail sales. This is probably where your money is going into. So the non-retail is 59.6 and 12.4 is the retail sales. So that is kind of where we see that. And then if you kind of look at the historicals there, that's what it looks like on the what they're generating in the nation. So it's kind of cool to look at that. And obviously, you know, the junk food went down, and the alcohol sales tax is probably just only from casino base from Twin Arrow, and I believe. Oh, on that line, I honestly have to look at that. So someone asked about the possessory interest. So I'm gonna go into the forms and let's see where that one's at, right on top here. So this would be the 200s. So here, this is the back instructions for the 200, and this I cannot frequently ask interest tax questions. Somebody's doing some. So do you see the PIT tax here? So right here, who must pay any person or entity owing possessory interest in a lease granted by the Navajo Nation with a value of more than $100,000. So if it's a lease granted by the nation, I'm trying to think what would be a good example that possibly might go into this line area.
Trading posts?
More than maybe yeah, might be a trading post would be a good example. I would have to do more research with that if you, I don't want to, I can't answer for you for that. I'm sorry. So I'll have to research that one for you, but this is the one I would probably most likely read and get more details and then start my research from this point. Now we're going to go to the Fun Arizona forms. So some of you guys, business owners, are going back and forth from on and off reservation. So you're probably pretty much really familiar with this form too for the on the Arizona side tax. I apologize, I did not pull up the New Mexico, Utah, and Colorado. So most of my client base is the Arizona. And so this is the one, when you're finishing and filing for your federal side, you're also going to attach the Arizona side. And this is what your residential personal income tax return, you're going to fill this portion out. Also, another recommendation is if some of you guys are completely 100% running your business on in Indian country on any of the nations here, I recommend that you also fill this form out, and you're totally exempt though, because you'll just do a 0, but still please apply, go ahead and send it in no matter what, if you have a 0 because of you conducting on any of the nations. Because in the long run, if you do plan in future wanting to apply for business loans, and you're only filing the federal, and when they're going to be running your financial background check, they'll flag that you haven't been filing in the state as well. Do start filing year to year if you're a business owner now, also the Arizona, and just make sure normally it'll just be exempt. So I have done that now. I did that last year. I just sent my own personal with my my business attached to it, and I still submit it to the Arizona taxation, so they see that, they know that I'm operating everything on Navajo Nation. So that's the form from Arizona. They also have and also just like IRS, go to Arizona or go to any of your state revenue departments and review them, and they have a lot of good links as well if you go onto their format or onto their websites. So that would be Arizona Department of Revenue. So this is my quote of the day. I have decided my 2024 will start February 1st. January is definitely a free trial month. So it's definitely for me. So this is kind of a good start for you all to like review some of what you have and start getting organized and start making your appointments with your bookkeepers, your financial person, your accountant, your CPA. And definitely, honestly, just reviewing a lot of my clients. And if you do have like a hired CPA, utilize them. You are paying big money. They're pretty penny to have in your business. And you're paying that, pay for that quarterly meet up with them quarterly. That way you know what they're looking for. You're going to find those outstanding invoices. You're going to and organize basically your business side of things. And so that's where I'm saying keeping the books kind of like bookkeeping. So if you in my opinion, just accurately tracking all of your income expenses is imperative. It's really important that you're always tracking it, reconcile every month, month over month. So by the time February starts, you're not freaking out, you're not so stressed out, and giving your bookkeeper, your accountant will thoroughly do all their services as well. And really key important, I highly, highly, strongly suggest keep your personal and business transactions separate. So if you guys are currently commingling your business account, your business into your personal, make it a goal at the end of February, because February, we're giving you an extra day this year. That extra day, just go back and say, I need to put all my business in my business account or establish a business account. It's really important that it gets really frustrating for us bookkeepers, finance people when you're giving us your personal. And I don't want to see how many times you spend for getting your nails done and then you're paying your taxes. I mean, I don't want to see that, but when you commingle like that, it just makes life a little bit harder for us finance people. And then when starting out though, use an Excel spreadsheet. That might work for you. I highly recommend it. If you guys are interested in just a startup spreadsheet, reach out to us. I can give you a template. We have a lot of free templates from the sba.gov website as well. So those are start with the template Excel if you want to do it that way. And then gradually, as you grow, go ahead and pick up a accounting software like QuickBooks. My clients, I recommend the QuickBooks, and if they're on a more of a tight budget, I'll utilize Wave. So those are the two I recommend. And then start categorizing your expenses based on your tax return, which I was showing you like on the Schedule C format that you could use those deductions as your start point of your categorization or your chart of account. So that's where kind of my key to-do list right now. And I think we'll go ahead and take some questions. This is my contact. Like I said, I'm a year into my business. And again, I do a lot of finance and accounting services and business solutions. That's my thing. I'm looking for any marketing if somebody's out there. That's not my forte. So that is my goal by this first quarter is to actually be a presence on social media and start getting my business website up. So that's just my personal phone number, and then that's my email address currently right now. So I'm gonna be partnering with Change Lab to help me get all that set up and some other resources. And I guess I can go out and ask some, have questions, and see if I can help you.
Yeah, we got one from, this says, can you share which QuickBooks are your go-to reports for any for the forms you review?
Ooh. I would love to get into my QuickBooks and share, but I have my account, I have my clients on my QuickBooks and I don't want to show the numbers. So let me go ahead and go into QuickBooks for you real quick and see if we got a tutorial. And I can't remember there was a link to those, but you're going to I utilize profit and loss. I use the balance sheet. Let's see. Can we do a share and see if we can get on QuickBooks?
I would pull it up first, just in case.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're fine with the way you are.
Oh, okay.
And then just go to there you go. Then there's another question that is there a certain business bank account you recommend?
That's a really great question. Certain business, before you start shopping. I noticed that if you're going to utilize a credit union, sometimes some of the features, some of these credit unions are really small when it comes down to uploading your business transaction. So you do it's called a CVS file, and then you link it to like a QuickBooks and they'll start automatically feeding it. Sometimes they won't do that. You might have to do the old school manual way. Also, if you're check writing to your vendors, check to see if they scan those checks onto your bank statement. It might be extra, but it's really worth doing that because it gets really, it gets overcoming when you just sign your checks and then give it to them and then they walk off.
Another question that we have is, can you share which QuickBook reports you go? We did that one. And then, do you have any training on QuickBooks?
I don't have the training. That is my goal. By the end of this year, by the end of 2024 year, my goal is to actually do a QuickBooks training for small businesses. That's my goal to start and get certified. So I want to do maybe some on October. I'll probably try to coordinate with Change Lab. I have some contacts with Change Lab. I also have some contacts with the, outside of Gallup. There's another business innovator that's run by the tribe where that plastic glove company is. That Rhino Glove, I think they have a little business incubator there too. I want to do some trainings there.
Oh, the Navajo Technical University, right?
Something like that. So yes, that's in the works for me. So if you want, let me know what you guys are looking for. It's basically kind of, but I can just kind of definitely show that. And that's another one of my goal is once I get social media out, I'll probably do some small tutorial videos, like less than 3 minutes, so we can capture people's attention. I think after 3 minutes, people don't want to pay attention. So I'm gonna try to do that. I'm not the biggest person about being videotaped, but I think it'd be helpful for you all.
I also have a question myself, because we talked about this earlier. As a small business owner, should you continually pay your quote unquote contractors or part-time help through things like Zelle, Venmo, Cash Apps for consistent pay?
Yes, you can. I would recommend it's a little bit easier on seeing it in the bank statements. You'll see that continuous. So a lot of us are doing Zelle. I think most of us are sometimes paying some of your services through Zelle. And I'll give you a real life scenario on the Zelle. There's some people are just sending it to a second person and they're using their kids' Zelle instead. You can't really do that. That's a no-no. So Zelle it to the person that you are actually Zelling to. We just completed yesterday's deadline was 1099s were due. So that needed to be submitted. So the 1099 is the ones for your W-9. So those are your contract labor workers. So most of us small business owners are utilizing that format right now. So go, if you haven't submitted and haven't done it, get that done sooner than later now because the deadline was yesterday. But you still are able to submit it by the end of February. You may get a little penalty for that as well. W-2s are for the payroll. A lot of us honestly haven't got to that point yet. The payrolls, so yesterday too, the W-2s were due. And you also are going to be paying W-2, the FICA, the unemployment, the Social Security. That's what it's for. Eventually, once you grow big, you're gonna definitely think about trying to get your staff on a payroll system. And most of that's QuickBooks has a payroll system, Square has a payroll system, some of those features, but it's going to be additional costs to get those plans into your system. So with QuickBooks, you can roll up those things, and at the end of the year, they'll be able to manually get that all taken care of. And with that said,
I just wanted to see if we wanted to try that one out.
Oh, okay, so I'm gonna try to.
Don't worry, Jackie, we're coming to your question too.
Yes, let's see. I don't know if I can mock link.
But I guess like just to review your reports that you like to use for any of the forms that you just kind of reviewed is a profit loss statement, balance sheet. Would a cash flow help?
You can do a cash flow too, just to see what sections of your cash flow you're spending and like month to month, quarter to quarter type of things too. So all of them can be ran that way. I really apologize for not getting that up for you guys. Let me see if there's a template. Let's see. I would love to run it, but like I said, my clients, you can't see my clients' numbers. It would kill me.
Great. Well, Jackie, we will definitely put it onto the docket to do a QuickBooks kind of tutorial, and as well as some templates and mock examples that Delphina can definitely walk us through to help exemplify and also tie together the forms that we just kind of went over today, and as well as to more into other financial topics, especially those who are looking for capital right now too. I think I want to go back to this one from Sasha Begay. She says, do we have to register our business with the chapter?
I don't think we need to, because there's no regulatory, because for me, just look, when you're submitting that sales tax form, remember how I told you there's a chapter number there that you utilize on their end. Navajo Nation sales tax probably utilizes that number to see how much that particular chapter is making the sales tax. You're submitting the sales tax to. But then again, I don't think you do, huh? There's no regular.
Determine it again, like you said, of the sales tax, because correct me if I'm wrong, there's 3 different sales tax across the Navajo Nation.
Yes.
And so your chapter being affiliated in those areas then determines the sales tax on these forms that you indicate for your business.
Yes.
Okay, so you don't have to necessarily register with your chapter. Don't know if that's possible, but essentially, by putting down the code of the chapter that your business resides within, you are able then to help better determine what sales tax on the Navajo Nation you would be kind of falling within.
So right now, I think again, another rule of thumb is when you're going through your expenses for 2022, now that you probably closed them all out, start running through, get the high dollars. So if you're a small business, that's probably generating your net income. So that's revenue minus expenses. If you're under 100,000 a year, I would suggest that you look at anything over 1,000 on up. Review those items, look at the equipment, because some of them can turn into assets. So some of the things that Indian country does, and I'm going to tell you, like I'm so proud of my 10 clients and these you business owners out there. How are you guys functioning? Some of you in the middle of nowhere. You are buying and purchasing a generator. You're buying and purchasing a solar to do your electric to that second gap. And I have people, I do have clients that are spending $5,000 to $15,000 on a generator just to run their businesses. That make sure you add that as an asset to your business so we can depreciate it. Another thing that's in ordinary is, again, we have no infrastructure on the nation. So you guys are billing and purchasing or renting porta-johns. I'm not joking. Most of my clients have porta-john rentals. That's probably a really good business to get into, because we literally probably only have 3 running around Navajo Nation, and they're going from over 100 miles round trip to get to some of these destinations. So the porta-johns. Okay, what is this thing?
Oh, sorry. Continue the thought.
Okay, so those are like, just think about those things. I have an Airbnb type of a client. They also have livestock. So the livestock there is they feed, sometimes they feed their guests, so they feed the guests, and so they are raising the sheep. And so we're also tracking the hay, the water when they're hauling the water for the sheep. Also, what's the word when you're giving the shots to the sheep and all that?
Oh,
Vaccination things like that. So we account that with her business, because she's usually basically home to table type of food for her guest. So just think about those. Those are when you need to ask your CPA or your accountant, like, we have these inordinary native expenses that, when you go off reservations, you wouldn't have. So those are, just track those and take a look at them, and just ask those questions and see if those are actually real business deductions. Again, we do run from our businesses for the mileage and the gas and the fuel. We're not running from Glendale to Peoria You guys are running your businesses, cross country, literally from Flagstaff, and you can be in Window Rock, and then you can go to Shiprock, and then you can go back to Gallup and go back to Window Rock. You're adding mileage, so definitely start doing a mileage tracking for yourself too, and start that, put it on a calendar. People recommend applications, but it doesn't really work on the nations because we can get in dead zones of our phones and it's not going to accurately check that. So we're still old school manual. So start doing those things. If you're going to be heading for a business trip, like some of you guys may be going to Res Conference next month and you're in Las Vegas, you're going to write off your hotel, your dinner, your food that you're eating, your gas, your mileage. So track those also. So those are going to be basically 100% deduction for your business. Tourism.
Okay, awesome. Back to Form 1065.
So that somebody asked about their K1 and their 1065 and the tax, where we put the Navajo Nation tax line. Okay, so here's the 1065 form. And you would put it right on line 14 for taxes and license. That's where you put your Navajo Nation tax payments on that line.
Great. Well, thank you so much, everybody. And Raquel put in our registration for our market prep actually happening next week. And I will pass it off to Raquel for ending remarks.
Okay. So if you have any questions at all, please feel free to email Holly and I. We can point you in the direction of which services that we can offer through ChangeLab. Also through all of our partnerships as well. Like Delphine mentioned, we do have a relationship with a lot of other organizations that support Native entrepreneurs and business owners. We're happy to connect you with them as well. They service a lot of New Mexico and Arizona, and as well as the Utah portion of Navajo. So please reach out to us for any of those questions. And then Terry, I did see your comment on graphic designers. We do have a whole list of graphic designers and other Native professionals that we have in our listing as well. I can send that out to you, Terry. You have my email. And then if there aren't any other questions, we are going to close out for the day. If I can find my Zoom screen. There we go. And if you're available this evening at 4 for our group coaching session, please join us. It's going to be the same link that you joined today's session here. And other than that, we'll see you guys tomorrow.